Good evening, Fort Collins. I'm Jackie Wilson, and this is CTV Talks, a talk show where we highlight and learn about special guests in the Fort Collins community. Tonight we'll be featuring interviews from some tough female Fort Collins athletes and a few talented thespians who helped to make the CSU Theater's latest production come to life. Can you imagine skating around a circle of women whose only goal is to jam into you? Well, our next guest can. Roller derby is a sport that is quickly gaining popularity, even in our own city of Fort Collins. So joining us from Fort Collins girls roller derby team, Foco Girls Gone Derby, we have Lory, Hamil, and Averie Floyd. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about roller derby. What is it?
Well, it is a sport played primarily by women on roller skates. We make a bunch of left turns and try and hit each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I heard this rough and tumble kind of game gains you a little bit of a name, per se. Can you tell us a little bit about your new names?
Yes. When you join roller derby, you get to pick a name. You get to pick your roller derby name, and it's sort of a throwback to the roots of roller derby when it was started many years ago in the mid to early 1900s. So my roller derby name is Molly Tov McGuire, and
my derby name is PB and Bam, and we usually have nicknames. So mine's Bam, hers is Molly at practice, and we were discussing earlier that we don't actually know each other's real name until we exit the rink. So
that's so funny. And you said you get to pick these names. Where did you come up with them? They're so unique.
Well, they're usually something that's personal to you for a lot of people. So for me, I chose Molly Tov McGuire because of my history degree and my interest in that and my Irish-American roots.
That's so cool. How about you?
Peanut butter is my favorite source of protein, so I eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Me too, girl. I get it. So how did you two get involved in the world of roller derby? I mean, it's kind of not very commonplace right now.
I got inspired through the movie Whip It, which was awesome, and I would highly recommend anybody watch it who doesn't know the rules. That's the best way to learn, I think, watching a cool movie about Ellen Page.
And it sort of happened upon me one day, and I decided it was a really great idea, and it just sort of took off from there. I just decided I would roller derby.
Right, and it has regained a lot of popularity, especially with the movie Whip It. Now, how far-reaching is it really?
Well, there is roller derby on every continent of the world. There is roller derby in Cairo. There's a team called the Kai Rollers.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're very punny roller derby people.
Oh, that's great.
So there's the Kai Rollers. There's a team in Tokyo. There's a whole bunch of it in Australia. It's all over the United States. Our governing body, the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, affectionately known as WFTDA, has over 200 member leagues right now and 70 plus apprentice leagues.
Oh my gosh.
So it's all over. We could go to almost any major city in the United States and find roller derby.
Wow, that's amazing. And what are the basic rules of roller derby?
Well, as we said, we make a bunch of left turns and try and hit each other, but two teams field 5 players each. There's a jammer and 4 blockers. The jammer is the only player who is able to score points, and she scores them by lapping the blockers or the jammer of the opposing team.
That's so interesting. See, it sounds a little scary.
Yeah, that's where the hitting comes in, because one team's trying to get their jammer through the pack, another team's trying to stop that jammer. So
oh my gosh.
We're all out to get them.
That's great. Get them, girl. All right. Now, what are the specific uniforms that you guys wear? Do you have any certain things that you really just like to wear?
Well, typically we want to wear something that is not going to get in the way of our skating. So it's a t-shirt like this. This is actually my, I'm on the traveling B team, the Punchy Brewsters, and this is my uniform shirt. So we want to wear something that doesn't get tangled up in skates should you fall or, get hooked on somebody else's clothing or their gear so that then you both fall.
Right.
But that's the basic idea behind the uniform.
Tight, but still flashy. You got to show your personality.
Right?
So we have fishnets, we have skull socks, we have, you can go for the sporty tube sock.
Socks are very, very
Socks are
popular in the derby world. Like borderline Dobby from Harry Potter obsession.
Oh, yeah.
For derby girls.
Love that. For Dobby girls,
leggings.
right?
Yeah, right.
That's great. And do a lot of girls know how to skate beforehand? Because I know I'm clumsy as it is, even on my own 2 feet.
Well, there are some teams that would require that you know how to skate. Some of the upper echelon teams, like, for example, the Denver Roller Dolls, based out of Denver, they're ranked number 4 in the world. And for them, they hold annual tryouts, and you do have to have some knowledge going into it. But for a team like Foco Girls Gone Derby, we would train you on everything you would need to know, from standing on skates to doing crossovers to taking hits and doing it all safely. You know, people's safety really is of the utmost importance in roller derby.
That's good. Good to know, especially if I want to join.
I'm just saying.
We'll get there.
It's always there.
And who is the youngest player on your team? Like, what is the age range?
All over the place. We just got a junior skater who is now 18, so she can skate with the adult league. And we have, who's the oldest?
Do you know, it's hard to say, but I do know that our youngest skater is still in high school, and our oldest skater, I think, has 5 children. One of them is a freshman here at CSU.
How cool is that? Sounds like a lot of diversity in that range.
Oh, yes.
How cool. And how often do you guys compete?
We have bouts about once a month, but we do take breaks in the midsummer and over Christmas because nobody's around.
Right, and probably gives you some time to heal.
It's a long season.
Yeah, I bet. And have you guys ever been seriously injured in something like this? I mean, it looks kind of intimidating.
I pulled my hamstring. That's as bad as mine has gotten, but it kept me out for 2 months, which was not fun. But
we have a lot of PCL and ACL injuries, so knee injuries are very common. You don't see a lot of really traumatic injuries, and I think it's because we're so dedicated to training. We want to make sure that people are safe out there, and the skill set requirements that you have to have passed in order to be bout eligible to play are pretty stringent. I mean, you have to be able to jump on one foot on roller skates. You have to be able to take and give a hit and not fall down.
Or fall properly.
Exactly. There's a huge focus on that because when you know how to fall, then you don't hurt yourself.
Right, no kidding. And I know we're focusing a lot on Foco Girls Gone Derby, but tell me about the men in this sport. Did you guys play against them? Are there any on your team?
Well, that's a really great question, actually. Our next bout is going to be a mix-up bout, and it's the only co-ed bout that we'll play all year. So we've invited refs from all over the state and surrounding states to come play with us because men don't often get an opportunity to skate. There are some men's leagues. The Men's Roller Derby Association, I believe, has a team in Denver and a team in Colorado Springs, the Mountain Madmen, and some of them may play with us. I know they did last year. So
cool.
It's crazy to play with men. They hit so differently in the way that they interpret the sport. Is just...
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So.
I'm going to.
So great. And I know roller derby is actually being considered for the 2020 Olympics. What do you guys think about that?
Clearly awesome.
I think that there's a lot of modifications that would need to be done in order to be seriously considered for the 2020 Olympics. You know, there would be some traditional things that we may have to drop, like roller derby names. I don't know how that would translate on the international scene in that way. And mainstreaming is really a conversation that we're all having in these member leagues. Is it something that we want to pursue, or do we want to maintain the grassroots feel of roller derby that we currently have?
So interesting. Well, to get more on the girl power, you can visit FocoGirlsGoneDerby.com and check the upcoming events tab to feel like you're part of the action. Thank you girls so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for hosting.
Of course.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Hey Ram fans, it's going to get cold tonight where we may see temperatures below freezing. It's going to be in the 50s tomorrow with a 50% chance of rain and 40% chance of snow on Friday. Don't get too excited, all you people from out of state. I don't think this will be enough for Tony Frank to cancel any school. Going into this weekend and into next week, the temperatures will be right back up to the high 50s and extremely sunny, so don't expect the snow to stay around for too long. Weather experts are saying that they expect this to be a nasty winter, so this might just be the start of the season. I guess we'll have to see. Colorado Springs and Denver will also see some rain and snow starting tomorrow and Friday. So if you're driving down there, make sure that your car is good in the snow and in the wet weather. I know all the native kids from Colorado have heard this a million times and don't need to worry about it, but us out-of-state students sometimes need to be reminded. And as I said, last time it is hurricane season, and we're seeing a lot coming around near Florida and Mexico. There were a lot of tropical storms this summer, and there are already 11 named hurricanes in the Atlantic right now, which is not too unusual considering we generally see about 12 a year. Weather experts are saying that they expect to see a few more storms because every 30 years storms seem to be stronger. And well, 2013 looks like it may be that year. Nothing is too concerning yet, but make sure to keep everyone who lives down there in your thoughts. And let's hope that we don't see anything too catastrophic this year. Thank you for watching CTV. I'm Caitlin Conley.
Orestes 2.0 is the latest production being put on by our very own CSU Theater. The play is an edgy rendition of the original playwright Euripides. This play is gaining attention for its modern pop culture spin on a timeless Greek tragedy with a few shocking twists.
Send your daughter, Hermione. Send the child. Who else? It always seems to me there's something special between a mother and her daughter.
Yes, you're right. I'll send Hermione. Hermione! Hermione, dear, come to me, dear. Hermione. Hermione. Hermione, do just as I say.
Joining us are the representatives for the play, Emma Kimball, Ben Hilzer, and Carrie Care. Thank you guys all so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Can you guys tell us a little bit about what is Orestes?
That's a great question. Orestes 2.0 it's 2.0 because it's a remake of the original Greek play, like you said. But we had a guest director from New York City, some guest designers. So it's really got an edgy New York kind of spin on it. So it's an interesting story that's been taken to another place now, too.
That's so great. And each of you, I know, had a large hand in helping make this production come to life. Can you tell us kind of what you did to make that happen?
I was cast in the original production and then became one of the co-choreographers and then became the assistant director. So each of those has a different set of things that you have to do. But.
Right.
So I was cast in it, and I'm one of the principal roles. I played Nod, one of the patients in the ward with Orestes. And I also do the voice of Hermione. I am the music director, and I wrote 2 songs for the play. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how about you?
I am the publicity coordinator at the University Center for the Arts. And so my involvement was really getting to talk with the director and seeing how we were going to translate her vision, really, and get her vision out there to get people to come see the show, and especially what is unique about it.
Right, and speaking about how it's so unique, I understand the play has been called a dark revisioning of the original. Carrie, can you tell us a little bit about what that might hint to?
It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. I mean, you've got this classic Greek tragedy, but we've got a lot of modern insertions in there, from projections to social references. It really, I think, bridges the gap between what is older and great about theater and then what is new and really relevant. So without giving too much away, it's really hard to explain. I think you guys would agree. You just will have to kind of see it to understand.
Definitely. And I know you had mentioned that you are working with a lot of guest directors, guest designers, and you're working with an award-winning director. Can you tell us how that experience has been?
It's been really fun more than anything, because she's young and she's got a very interesting take on theater as a whole and on this play. She's done it before and wanted to sort of do some new stuff with us, and it was a very organic process working as a team, as a company, and working with her. So we sort of just got to know each other and then tried a bunch of things and saw what worked and what we thought was exciting and interesting, and that's what stuck. Yes.
The best part was that working with Sanaz, it never was a no to any idea that we ever had. It was always a yes, let's try it. And so one of the best parts about being in a play is that you're playing. You're playing the whole time, and that's something that I do all the time. And so a lot of great organic things come from it. And so that was the best part about working with Sanaz, I would say.
Right, and talking about having all these new ideas come up, we have these new things called tweet seats, which is the most interesting thing I've seen come out of this like new media insertion into these plays. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
A little bit. The idea came from within CSU Theater, from the director and his team, director of CSU Theater. And the idea was to really make theater relevant. I mean, it's sort of tying in. A lot of times, for us, if it's not on our phone, if we cannot find it on here, then chances are we may not see it. So this is a way the audience can interact while the play is going on. You can tweet a picture, you can tweet a comment, or even a video, or Facebook, or Vine, or Instagram, whatever. And then there is live response and feedback during the show. So you could ask a question of the director saying, why was this choice made? Or like, why is Helen played by a guy in this show? And you will get that live response and interaction. And so it really helps us get the word out there, but I think particularly for this show, you're able to see the very interesting elements. You can see some of the projections, the costuming, some of the even more disturbing moments that are going on. And so it really is a way to pique curiosity, but also to get our art out there in a new way.
Right, and audience members are allowed to not only interact online, but also with the actual play itself. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about this interaction?
So the play is theater in the round, and so there's not really a center stage, if you will. It's the audience surrounds the set. And so the actors play out, and actually during most of the play have specific seats that they go and sit in during the play. And at certain points, the interaction becomes a part of it, just being the actors, being in character. And so be careful as to where you sit, I guess, if you want that or not.
Right, and speaking about be careful where you sit, I hear there's a lot of nudity.
I wouldn't say there's a lot of nudity.
A decent amount of nudity.
There are a couple scenes with nudity, but my opinion is that it's very tasteful. And I've actually had people come up and say, I didn't even think about the nudity in that scene because I was watching this other thing that was happening over here, this other thing, because it's definitely a play that has, more than anything, a lot to look at. There's a ton of wonderful design elements like Carrie was talking about, and we have these great actors who are right next to you. So there's always something to watch, and sometimes it happens to be nudity.
Sometimes it happens to be some full frontal. All right, fair enough. Well, talking about also how many interesting things there are in this play, what do you think is the most interesting, unique, or outlandish aspect of this play?
You want to say yours?
Outlandish, I would say the trial of Orestes and Electra. There is so much stuff going on that you almost don't even know what's happening, and that is the point. And so it's really just what it is at that point. So
that's so interesting. Well, we look forward to seeing you all there. If Orestes 2.0 sounds like a show you just have to see, you still have a chance to check it out October 17th to 20th at 7:30 p.m. It's located in the Studio Theater at the UCA, and tickets are just $8 for CSU students and $18 for adults. Tonight we've heard from some strong, fabulous women who prefer roller skates to heels, and from the crew who has helped to bring Orestes 2.0 to life through song and dance. Until next time, I'm Jacky Wilson, and this has been CTV Talks.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.